Welcome back to That's So Vegas. I'm Christine McKellar, and I kept Terry Fator in the studio because we are introducing his darling, adorable, lovely bride of almost 8 months, Angie-Fiore Fator. Hello, Angie.
Hi.
You still have the blush of the bride upon you. I have a question for you because you were introduced to us in media and the public pretty much at the Christmas show, which was fantastic, and I was so amazed. You came out looking beautiful in your gown and everything, but I'm thinking, I know that you have a catering business. I don't know that you had any background whatsoever in showbiz. And the way you pulled that off, because I would have been flabbergasted. I would have been so petrified. I can do camera, I can't do stage. Tell me, how did you do that, and so gracefully?
Oh boy. I was so intent on not disappointing my husband, although I'm not sure I can disappoint him.
It's love.
That was my mindset, and no, I had not been on stage since like the 7th grade in a play. But I don't know, I just sort of just did it. I don't know if you knew this, but we had a lot of friends and family out in the audience too, and I think all that pressure was just like, okay, you cannot fail, you cannot fail.
Oh, I see.
So not that I did a great job, but I think I did okay.
From my perspective, you were fine. I mean, it went so smoothly. There was so much humor in there with the, again, my favorite, Dougie, the neighbor. You coming out with the brownies with that innocent face, and it was, I mean, people were roaring. And what a welcome introduction. So do you plan on going back on stage maybe on occasion with your hubby, or certain special
might happen
occasions?
in the Christmas show.
It could happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I know that you're going on tour with him. You got to be excited about that.
Oh yeah, we do.
You're going
Almost
up through-
everything together. Yeah.
Up through Washington and
Yes, I'm looking forward to that. It'll be beautiful.
taking some puppets with you, so it won't be a honeymoon. Which, again, I have to say, too, because I know, and we talked about all of these things in Terry's head, keeping all those personalities. Do you ever feel like they're with you? Not in intimate moments, but I mean, like, just in the family, in the house, or how do you deal with the puppets?
That's a good question.
I know that his mind races 24/7. It's going constantly. He's so creative. But no, the puppets never come home with us, and the voices never come out at any time.
Well, that could be a good thing. You might have a heart attack.
That was well said.
That was very well said.
That's the question she gets, though.
I do.
That's the big question is, does he ever, it's
I
like,
wasn't
no.
about to bring that up because she's still a bride. It hasn't even been a year yet. Some things are just meant, for the bedroom. You had your own business for years in Dallas, didn't you? Catering?
Yes.
Yeah. Is that your passion?
It is.
Are you
And,
baking for this one over here a lot?
She cooks for me a lot.
I do.
She doesn't bake for me, but
doesn't, but
we're
she
on a
cooks.
diet.
Yeah.
That's
Oh, okay.
why.
We try to watch our weight. We're really focusing on it right now, to have a healthy lifestyle. But I haven't really done a lot of cooking at home. Not yet. When we entertain, yes. We're just so busy. We're always running.
Right. It sounds like this tour schedule is really fantastic. And you are 7 nights a week at the Mirage, or 6?
No, we're right now we're 4. 4 to 5.
Okay.
And then on the off days, that's when we do our traveling, or in my weeks off, that we'll do a tour.
I just think it's wonderful. You really get to. Have you toured the United States prior to this, or pretty much?
I've seen most of the United States, yeah.
But not with someone you love.
Right.
That makes all the difference.
It's like doing it for the first time.
Yeah, everything's like doing it for the first time. Here we go. I want to keep this on track. What was I gonna? Now, have you thought of perhaps starting a catering business here in Vegas? But there are so many world-renowned chefs here.
I do know that. I do know that.
I could introduce you to some of them if you'd like at some point.
Well, and we've met a few, but I will take you up on that, because even if I close my business in Dallas and I don't open anything here, once food is in your blood, it's there. So,
Right.
I mean, I will always have an interest and a passion for it.
So you'll be barbecuing and doing fun stuff.
Oh, yeah.
When you have your time off.
Yes.
Which reminds me, here's a question I've always wanted to ask a well-known, famous, popular entertainer. What happens when he gets sick? I mean, Have you ever been so sick you couldn't?
Yeah, most of the time I do the show.
You're not going to be the stand-in.
She'll tell you that most of the time, no matter how sick I am, I'm on that stage, and she doesn't. And nobody really knows how I do it, and I don't even know how I do it, but. There's something that drives me that and the audience never knows. I'll get off stage and practically collapse. But there has been, I was in San Francisco and I got really sick. I got stomach virus, stomach flu. And I was stuck in San Francisco. I had to cancel the show. And we took a private jet home because there was no way I could get, there was just no way I could get on a commercial flight. And I was so sick. But I only missed one night. And, the next night I was weak. And I think I had to sit. I did. I sat on a stool during the show.
So that's how you kind of play it off with the audience, is you'll probably sit where you normally would have stayed. That takes a lot of stamina to do what you do. I mean, the singing and the manipulating and everything else, he has to keep track of a lot of stuff. We had talked about that in the previous segment.
Yes.
Have you ever thought, I was just looking at how beautiful she is and how you two get along so well together. Do you think there's ever a puppet in the future that could be an Angie puppet?
That's a good question. Actually, I'm her puppet though, so I don't know if that would work.
Touche, I like that. That's a good husband. I mean, seriously, you've done the others. It could be maybe someday there'll be an Angie-Fiore Fator.
I never even thought of that, but that's a funny idea. To have an Angie puppet.
You put that out there, didn't you?
No, we can't even talk about that because we go your whole thing with the hands and all that. You're just a clever guy. So now that you've gone, let's say, from the galley to the glamour, did your lifestyle change much when you and Terry met? As far as, just he's constantly being adored. It's got to be tough when you're...
It has changed. I still pinch myself occasionally. It is a fairy tale, a true life living fairy tale. His fans are very adoring, but they're so very respectful. And I'm just thrilled for him, when he's approached by his fans and whatnot. And they're very gracious.
She's usually the photographer. So, we'll be sitting and somebody will be, they're always very, 99.9% of the time, they're very, I hate to bother you. And it's like, no, look, I waited a long time for this, so I don't mind getting my picture taken. And then Angie will take the camera and take a picture. She's very sweet and very proud.
Yes, of course. Well, I don't blame you, and he's so proud of you. You both, it seems, have waited a long time for good things in your life. You've had how long did you have your catering business?
16 years.
Oh, well, there you go. Yeah. You've had it for a long time.
Second profession.
But how Terry had really worked hard and struggled and had a lot of disappointments before he finally got recognized on America's Got Talent, and then that just was the whole spin-off. So do you think that has given you two a better appreciation of this new love that you have and this good lifestyle that you can live? And
well, I was telling Angie a couple of days ago that this is the first time in my entire life that I've felt safe. I mean safe. Wow. I had a terrible childhood with, I told you a little bit of, maybe I didn't tell you about my dad, but I had a very difficult dad, very difficult mother. It's a difficult marriages in the past. Never really felt safe. And for the first time in my life, I feel safe. I think that's why I was telling her, that's why I sleep. I sleep through the night now for the first time in as long as I can ever remember. And I think it's because I have a safety. I feel like I'm safe when I'm with her. When she's next to me, I feel safe.
I've heard of something similar about that. It may have been a lyric in a song or something, but I heard something about when I met you or where you are is home. That's when you're really in love, when you can look at that person and say, you are home to me. Yeah. And that's, I think, how you two probably feel about each other. Were you married before?
No.
So
I waited for the one.
Awesome.
I was determined and didn't give up hope, but I was quite surprised when he finally arrived.
And your sister introduced you to.
My sister and Angie's best friend.
Yeah, a dear friend of mine.
I love stories.
Yeah.
That's why I was so happy to have you on a show, and I want to thank you for coming on for you coming on. And I'm just
thanks
really,
for having us.
I know. I want to do this again when we have a little bit more time. And you have to get settled and get your Vegas roots going on. Do you like Las Vegas real quick?
I love Las Vegas. One day I just didn't go back home to Dallas except for, catering events that require my attention. And I feel right at home here.
Amazing. Well, home is in the heart.
That's right.
Yes, it is.
I think we'd feel home anywhere.
Yeah.
As long as we're together.
I'm kind of jealous. I love road trips, and I know that you're going to... Where was that?
Snoqualmie.
Snoqualmie and Portland? Or
Yeah,
what,
somewhere near Portland. It's in Oregon. We're going to do... It's about a 6-hour drive from
you're just gonna,
Seattle.
It's going to be nothing but a wonderful adventure.
Beautiful.
Maybe like another mini
Well, we took our honeymoon up the PCH, the Pacific Coast Highway.
I love
and we
that.
did... It's been about 3 to 4 days just driving up. It was so wonderful.
I've done that
It was
with
the best
a friend.
vacation I've ever had.
Yeah, 1,800 miles we put on a Lincoln Town car.
nice.
10 days. It was wonderful.
Amazing.
Well, I wish I could be one of the puppets in your suitcase, not in the bedroom, but just in the whatever in the background. And I can't believe how this hour has flown. I'm going to have to sign off. I have to give a quick shout out to my sponsor who keeps me on the air, the Red Roof Inn on Paradise across from the Hard Rock, free Wi-Fi continental breakfast for guests, and they're pet friendly. And thank you both. Safe travels. Keep the love going.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.